Thank you. Hello, my name is Dennis Olson. I'm the Public Relations Strategist at World Headquarters, and welcome to the 2020 International Speech Contest Finalist Showcase. Congratulations to all 8 of our contestants proceeding to the World Championship of Public Speaking. Now, we know it's been a very long journey, and each of you have worked very hard to get here. We're excited to meet with you today, and we look forward to hearing your speeches on Saturday. During today's showcase, what we're going to do is speak with each contestant for a few minutes, and I'm going to ask each of the contestants to mute your microphone and turn off your camera until I call on you for a question. So we're going to start with Mike Carr. Mike, what is the best advice someone gave you as you prepared for the speech contest?
That had to be Mark Brown, such a great mentor and coach, and really just talked about feeling what you're saying. Because early on, if you were to go back and I don't recommend you geek out on that at all. I'll just tell you about it. They're not worth seeing. But earlier versions of that speech at the division level, I was just reporting, and Mark said, you need to feel that, feel what you're saying. Let me see that. And it made all the difference. It was amazing in the preparation for this one.
Great, thank you, Mike. And this question is for Benjamin Wyo. Benjamin, what did you enjoy most about this competition?
That's a difficult question. I would say putting the stories together, meeting so many different people, being able to hear different stories. It's quite challenging when you consider use of technology and everything, and you're not actually having that conversation with human beings right beside you, right in front of you. So that's kind of challenging, but at the same time, you still get the opportunity to share what you love, to share your message. And so preparing the messages, preparing the speeches, talking about them, and connecting with people nonetheless, despite the challenges involved, I guess would be my fun, as it were, in going through the contest.
Okay, thank you, Benjamin. And this question is for Maureen Zapala. Maureen, how does it feel to be proceeding to the World Championship of Public Speaking?
It's magical. It really is. This is my second time in the finals. I was in the finals in 2009, which completely different time in Toastmasters as well as in the contest world. We weren't virtual then, but this time around, and I'll be honest, I'll be 100% honest with you, when COVID hit in the middle of the contest season, I really was one of those people that said, we should just defer the whole contest season, just the rest of the season, because this is just going to be too hard, too different, too much to put on contestants and leaders and even the members. And I'm so glad that nobody listened to me. Of course, I didn't tell that to anybody other than me and my mirror, but it's been a magical journey. When I competed in 2009, I'd been in Toastmasters a long time, but that was the furthest I'd been. And I've become such a different speaker, just even in the last 11 years, since 2009 up till today. So the journey has been a joy. And I love to say this, I've enjoyed the journey because so many people have joined the journey. A lot of people would love to be where I'm at, but there are a whole bunch more people that are like, oh no, you're good. You be on stage. I want to be behind you, cheering you on. And that's been really, really fun, is to allow people to join that journey.
All right, thank you, Maureen. And this question is going to be for Lindy McLean. Lindy, what was the main point of your semifinal speech, and what inspired you to speak on that topic?
The main point of my semifinal speech was the power of passions. And certainly it's been a personal experience about passions. I think everyone has their own experience, and everyone knows that passions are powerful and important. But the reality that in our world, in our Western world, and in perhaps the whole world, that for women, passions are often placed as secondary to requirements in daily life and in the world. So that is where it came from, that need to come alive and express ourselves and find our place in the sun through that.
All right, thank you, Lindy. And Sherwood Jones. Sherwood, is this your first time competing in the semifinals? And if you've competed in speech contests before, what has kept you going?
Well, this is actually my second time in the finals. I competed here in 2016 back in Washington, D.C. And I think in general that down through the years, I joined Toastmasters back in 1994. And except for the year where I was an area governor, I have competed in all the contests all the way down, and with varying degrees of success. So I think that what keeps me going in that is the challenge. On the one hand, there's the adrenaline that goes on, but on the other hand, it's the creative challenge. And I'm also a filmmaker, and I see a lot of parallels between filmmaking and public speaking. And when I go to a speech contest, it's like I'm going to a film festival, because I get to see what other artists are doing, what choices that they have made. I learn from them, and maybe they learn from me, but it's development all the way around.
All right, thank you, Sherwood. And Kwang Yu Yang, this year you had to compete virtually. Can you tell us how you overcame that challenge?
I think the biggest challenge for me was just that mental challenge of trying to work out whether a virtual competition and how it works and how you deliver. It was a lot of fun. I think in my mind, I switched it eventually to say, let's just use this as an opportunity to learn how to present better over video. And when I saw that as the positive, I was more open to the idea of the contest, and I started to understand how you can present over video a lot better. And that helped me a lot.
All right, thank you, Kwang. And Linda Marie Miller, what did you enjoy most about the competition, and what are you looking most forward to in the World Championship of Public Speaking?
What I've enjoyed the most is, and this is my ego talking, my club thinks I'm the bomb. My home club, I can't get a good evaluation out of them anymore. The higher I've risen in the contest, the more they just back off giving me evaluations. And also I've been invited to speak at other clubs, which has been really amazing, and I've really enjoyed that. What I'm really looking forward to in the World Championship of Public Speaking Finals is delivering the message that I'm going to deliver to the world. The message I'm going to deliver the world has kind of been a tap on my shoulder, that voice in my head that says, if you get there, say this. So I'm very, very excited.
All right, great, thank you. And we'll go back to Mike Carr. Mike, what did you enjoy most about this competition?
I have actually enjoyed the virtual most. I cannot believe that the entire world are not members of Toastmasters at this point, because the entire world are communicating at their jobs, with their grandkids, with their siblings, via Zoom or any of the other platforms that are out there. And since we started this, and so many clubs, my home clubs, went to a virtual environment, it is amazing practice. I see my ability to really communicate, even in a work setting, over for the camera and over the airwaves, by just practicing that in the Toastmasters weekly meeting. So I've really enjoyed that, playing with this medium a little bit to see what it can do. There are advantages that the virtual have that an in-person doesn't. If we were giving these talks in front of 3,000 individuals, there's no way you could get right up in front of someone and really share what the nuances of your face are saying. And you can do that with however many thousand are tuning in this environment. So it's absolutely virtual. I hope Toastmasters will make this some kind of component when live comes back as well, because they both have so much so much value.
Great, thank you. And let's go to Aaron Sampson. Aaron, what is the title of your semifinal speech that you presented, and what special meaning does that have?
The title of my semifinal speech was Say Yes. And the meaning was pretty explicit, actually, in the title. It was about seizing the moment, and in the speech particular, seizing the next moment and being proactive. Because in life, there are constantly moments that pass us by. And a lot of times we feel bad about those moments that we may not have seized. But the main message of my speech was, it's okay, there's always the next moment. And to say yes to that next moment.
All right. Thank you, Aaron. And we're going to go to Benjamin Wyo. Benjamin, how does it feel to you to be proceeding to the World Championship of Public Speaking?
As someone rightly said earlier, it's magical, simply magical. It's almost unbelievable. People have, I guess people have no idea what it's like. And even I would have imagined what it would be like. But it's simply magical. Being able to share the stage, the virtual stage, with such great speakers, people that you've watched and heard about for so many years now, and being able to still communicate a message to so many people. This new platform, COVID-19 challenges, have actually allowed us to share our message with so many more people than we could have earlier. And it's really a dream come true. I've been dreaming about being here, and I'm excited. And it's a dream come true.
Yeah. All right. Great. Thank you. And Maureen Zapala, we'll come back to you now. What was the main point of your semifinal speech, and what inspired you to speak on that topic?
All right. I just took my glasses off. I think I'm muted or not muted. Okay, so my background is engineering. I used to work for NASA, and I told a story in the speech of an event that happened while working for NASA, where I was so, gosh, Aaron, it's so much like you. Don't miss those chances to say yes. It was a professional decision. I had to do something in my job that I was terrified to do, and it was, looking back, it seemed like a little thing, but it was life-changing for me. And so the title of my speech is Pushing Your Envelope, and it's about getting out of your comfort zone, not being afraid to fail, but being afraid to try something new. Don't be afraid to try something new.
Okay, thank you. And Lindy McLean, how does it feel to be proceeding to the World Championship of Public Speaking?
Well, it's certainly magical. I would also say it feels a bit unreal, and it happens overnight, right? Or in the space of a single day. But more than that, the virtual environment lends itself to that feeling of unreality. And if just between you and I'm actually grateful in some ways, because like Sherwood, well, I'm not a filmmaker, but I really appreciate that using Zoom as a speaker brings us the capabilities of film. And was it Mike that said, I think, that there's that potential for intimacy that a large stage does not have. So I get to be here with my computer and with the ways that I've practiced and the faces that I am speaking to in my mind, and that will help keep me grounded where an auditorium of thousands might just have me floating away like a balloon. So this is a little bit unreal, but very magical, and I'm really honored to be here.
All right, thank you, Lindy. And Sherwood Jones, what was the title of your semifinal speech, and what special meaning does it have?
Title of my semifinal speech was Ignore the Suit. And I'm one of those people that every time I look in the mirror, I keep thinking, well, this is not how I feel inside. This is not how I envision myself. And I know that that's not necessarily a good thing, but in another way, it is a good thing because what we are inside and what we are outside are two different things. It's great if they match, but if we're not satisfied with what we are on the outside, that's not so important. The important thing is the development of who we are on the inside, and that will reflect who we are on the outside, I think.
All right, thank you. Kwang Yu Yang, what did you enjoy most so far about this competition, and what are you looking forward to most in the World Championship of Public Speaking?
What did I enjoy most? I think I enjoyed probably less pressure. I don't know what it is, but delivering a story or a speech from your own home, there's a lot less pressure. When you compete and you go to a physical event, people come up and say, oh, you've got this, you're going to do really well. And then you're like, oh shit, what happens? Oh no, if I don't do really well, what happens? So I think sort of less stress, and that has been the best part. Sorry, I forgot the second part of the question.
What special meaning? I'm sorry. What are you looking forward to most in the World Championship?
I think I'm just looking forward to the fact that I can deliver this online. There's a lot of people that I'll never get a chance to speak with, and to do this virtually, to be able to reach a lot more people, that is definitely an opportunity to make an impact.
All right, great. Linda Marie Miller, we want to know, is this your first time competing in the semifinals? And if you've competed in speech contests before, what has kept you going?
This is the first speech contest I've ever been in. I've had to learn all along the way, okay, club, okay, area, okay, now what's the next one? And what's the next one? I've only been in Toastmasters for, it's just coming up right on 2 years. So this has been a completely amazing process, but also an alien process to me, which has been wonderful because I didn't have to get scared or worry about what came next. I knew there were magnificent people just leading me where I needed to go. So I think that's my answer to that question.
All right, great, thank you. And Aaron Sampson, back to you. So can you explain the challenge of competing virtually and how you ever overcame those challenges this year?
Yes. So, part of the challenge is we're trailblazers here. This is the first time Toastmasters has had this virtual contest. So trying to figure out what works best has been a big challenge for me. Also trying to figure out how the message is best received and how the judges feel the message will be best received is always something that we've had to figure out as we go. I think that, at the same time, one of the benefits of this new virtual environment is the ability to practice is much easier. So before, we may be doing the whole club circuit and doing lots of different in-person meetings, but now we're able to just set up our computer and actually deliver the speech, record it, and watch it back and even share it with people we trust to get their insights.
Great, thank you. And we've got a little bit more of time left, so we're going to ask each of you the same questions. We'll give you about 30 seconds. And starting with you, Mike Carr, can you tell us about your process for preparing?
My process would be I write it out completely, and then I build a mental model where different visuals around my house are part of key points. So I don't memorize it, but sorry, I'm trying to speed up here. key points with mental triggers, and then in the speech, I just walk around my house looking at those mental triggers, and then just practice it and play with it and record it and see what looks interesting, share it with others whom I trust, and clubs, get feedback, and at the end of the day, make a decision and have fun with it.
All right, great, thank you. And Benjamin, same question to you. Can you tell us about your process for preparing?
It starts out with having a story, a particular story that touches my heart, something that means something to me. It has to be something I'm passionate about, something I'm crazy, something that gave me a big life lesson or something like that. If I'm passionate about something, all kinds of stories, all kinds of speeches come from such stories. So the center of my speeches are a particular event, a particular experience, and then I just build the story around that, connect it with other things that have to do with my life, other people that I've met, things that have happened, and just keep building from there. And then I write out and rehearse and just keep feeling it. The more I feel it, the easier it is for me to communicate it to people that are hearing, to listening to me. And that's all it's about. It's about communicating that emotion to someone else so that they could all feel what I felt when I developed, or what happened to me happened to me.
Okay, and Maureen, same question for you. Can you explain your process for preparing for the speech contest?
Sure. It's not a simple question to answer, but it is uncomplicated, I guess. I've written many speeches. I've been a speaker for many years. This was a story I've used in the past, and I restructured the story and then created a different message. But I first had to write it out, internalize it. When I practiced with clubs, I actually sat at my desk and read it. I just needed to see that it flowed. Once I got, there's a difference between something being read and something being said. So I had to know that what I was speaking sounded like me speaking and not me reading. So I had to iterate back and forth. And then came what is critical, coaching. I got coached. Darren LaCroix and his Stage Time University, which is one of the sponsors of the convention, life-changing coaching for me. Great people in there. I was able to get the feedback that I needed, not just the, wow, great eye contact, great gestures, but I didn't feel it. You're not being real. You're not being conversational. You're not congruent. Your face doesn't match your words. Okay. I don't know. That's just fabulous feedback. So get coached. That was my hugest, is that a word? My biggest element of practicing.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Maureen. And Lindy, can you explain your process?
I will say that my clubmate, Kyle Hall, who was in the World Championship in 2003, he says that he thinks about what his message is and then what stories support it. And I wish it was so straightforward for me. Honestly, there is something so important and magical about the interaction between my audience and myself as I practice and prepare, because I start out in the middle of the feeling of the story, but I often do not actually know what it is about for some time. So it's that interaction with feedback and with people hearing and responding that then ends up shaping my story and
Great.
the way that I deliver it.
Thank you. And Sherwood Jones, same question for you. Can you explain your process for preparing for the speech contest?
The first thing in preparation for any contest, be it a humorous contest or international or what have you, is coming up with a concept. That's always been the most difficult for me, because I want to, even though I have a number of messages that I could tell, the big question is, what has the most potential for an interesting speech, something that can develop over a 5 to 7 minute period. Once I've locked into that, then I actually will type it up, and I'll put it in large font because I'm very visual. And I'll separate it into paragraphs and onto pages depending upon the shift of subject, because I'm very visual. And as I'm giving the speech, I'm actually seeing it on the page. And then of course I go around to as many different clubs as I can and get all sorts of feedback. And I take what resonates with me.
Great, thank you. And Kwong Yu Yang, can you explain your process?
Very simple process. I just made sure that I was doing Zoom meetings at least once a week. So making sure I got comfortable with the camera, and whether it's taking a small role, actually it's probably more taking a small role. I didn't really do that many speeches over this time. So it's just getting used to Zoom on a weekly basis.
Great, thank you. And Linda Marie Miller, same question for you. Can you explain your process for preparing?
Yes, choosing the message. And at 62 years old, I have a lot of messages I want to give the world. Then test drive the speech, get feedback, completely rewrite it, test drive, feedback, rewrite, test drive, feedback, rewrite. That's how I prepared.
Great, thank you. And Aaron Sampson, can you explain to the audience your process for preparing?
Yeah, I'll echo a lot of what my fellow contestants are saying, constantly reworking the content, the message. I also work with the coach, Prez, who's also a sponsor of this conference. He's a magician with words, but truly respects my style, which is what I appreciate so much about him. And just having fun, enjoying it. This is a journey, and you have to really enjoy the journey if you're going to be competing in this contest.
Fantastic, thank you. So thank you to each contestant for joining us today and sharing a little bit more about yourselves. And thank you to the audience for joining us as well. Now, to hear all 8 contestants compete and see who will emerge as the 2020 World Champion, tune into the World Champion of Public Speaking at 2 p.m. on Saturday, August 29th. Thank you again.